An 18-year-old man has now been charged with the disappearance and murder of 16-year-old West Wendover High School student Micaela Costanza.
In March 1997, Sharon Carr was sentenced to 14 years behind bars for killing Katie Ratcliffe. She is the youngest female murderer in British history.
Me and Mike were talking about it one day, and we agreed that the only way to get that drama out of our lives was to get rid of her.
Delve into the hidden tales of society's most misrepresented women, as revealed in Deadly Devotion. This documentary uncovered the heartrending stories of women who had found themselves on a journey to ruin, not out of malice, but as a result of the profound impacts of trauma, abuse, and unbearable anguish they had endured. The findings revealed the startling transformations that had turned ordinary women into formidable forces. By confronting the unsettling truths, we gained a deeper understanding of love, loss, and the complexities of the female mind. Case number 1. Affection was indeed a wonderful experience. However, when it degenerated into obsession, catastrophic outcomes ensued. We prepared to uncover the startling true narratives of deadly women, where distorted love culminated in devastating consequences, leaving destruction in its wake. In the sleepy town of West Wendover, Nevada, a chilling darkness lurked, waiting to strike. On March 3rd, 2011, 16-year-old Micaela Costanza disappeared after her track practice, sending shockwaves through the community. As night descended, frantic searches yielded nothing but silence. The town's tranquility was shattered, and desperation crept in. 2 agonizing days passed before a volunteer stumbled upon a gruesome discovery: Micaela's lifeless body, which had been buried in a shallow grave just 5 miles from home. Detectives delved into the darkness, unraveling a tangled web of secrets and lies. Cody Cree Patton, an 18-year-old with a troubled past, emerged as the prime suspect. He was not alone. His girlfriend, Toni Fratto, who was just 11 years old at the time, was also entangled in the sinister plot. Investigation. As the truth began to surface, a chilling narrative of psychological exploitation and domination emerged. Patton had exploited Toni's vulnerability, weaving a web of deceit and control that had nearly suffocated her. The stark age disparity between them had cast a sinister shadow over their troubled bond. Patton's obsession with Micaela had turned deadly, driven by a twisted desire for possession and control. Toni, trapped in his web of deceit, was forced to participate in the horrors that unfolded. Trial. The courtroom spectacle was a gripping, emotional roller coaster as damning evidence exposed the sinister depths of Patton's psychological manipulation. The packed courtroom held its collective breath, transfixed by the high-stakes drama unfolding before them, with justice hanging precariously in the balance. The verdict was guilty of first-degree murder. Patton was sentenced to life imprisonment without parole, and Fratto received a life sentence with the possibility of parole after 18 years. As the gavel fell, Micaela's family found some solace, but the wounds would never fully heal. West Wendover was left with a haunting reminder of the evil that had lurked in the shadows. In the end, justice was served, but questions lingered. What darkness had driven Cody Patton to destroy 2 lives? Would Toni Fratto ever escape the shadows of her own twisted past? The town's tranquility had been forever shattered, replaced by an unsettling sense of unease. The darkness that had consumed Micaela and Toni still lingered, waiting for its next victim. In West Wendover, fear had become a permanent resident, and the line between good and evil had been forever blurred. It was a dark day when 16-year-old Micaela Costanza went missing after school in West Wendover, Nevada, back in 2011. The whole town was in a panic, searching high and low for the poor class. The police worked tirelessly to get to the bottom of it, and before long, they had fingered Cody Cree Patton, an 18-year-old with a dodgy past, and his girlfriend Tony Fratto, who was only 11 at the time. A bloody horror story of manipulation and control soon unraveled. Patton had become obsessed with Mickey, and his twisted desires had turned deadly. Fratto was trapped in his web of deceit, forced to take part in the horrors that unfolded. On that fateful day, Patton allegedly snatched Mickey, taking her to a secluded spot near the Utah-Nevada border. The isolation was eerie, the silence deafening. Mickey's lifeless body was later found, brutally murdered, in a crime that shocked the nation. The details were shocking. Patton forced Mickey to the ground, causing her to suffer a seizure. When her head hit a rock, Fratto delivered the lethal blow, striking Mickey with a shovel. During the trial, conflicting accounts emerged from the two defendants, each trying to shift the blame onto the other for Mickey's untimely death. Their actions were calculated, cold-blooded, and devoid of humanity. Patton's attempts to downplay his involvement were dismissed. The judge's verdict was swift and severe. Patton was sentenced to life imprisonment without parole for first-degree murder. Fratto pleaded guilty to second-degree murder, receiving a life sentence with the possibility of parole after 18 years. Mickey's family was forever shattered by the tragedy. Her mother and sisters endured nightmares, their memories haunted by the pain of her premature departure.
It makes me really nervous because I haven't seen her and I want to make sure she's okay.
The community confronted the stark realities of violence and its devastating repercussions. Mickey's legacy endured, a poignant reminder of the importance of holding offenders accountable and pursuing justice for victims and their families. The town of West Wendover would never be the same, forever haunted by the shadows of that fateful day. Case number 2. In the tranquil suburbs, a malevolent secret lay concealed behind closed doors, a disturbing narrative of affection, manipulation, and treachery emerged, dismantling the illusion of an ideal marriage. It was a realm where love became lethal, and the distinctions between loyalty and ruin grew indistinct. The question remained, what sparked the transformation from caring partner to merciless murderer? What concealed influences drove a seemingly flawless relationship toward disastrous collapse? Sharon Carr was born in Belize in 1979, and her early years were marred by hardship and instability. This difficult start in life set her up for a lifetime of struggles. When Sharon's family moved to England in 1986, they thought they were getting a fresh start in Camberley, Surrey. However, the shadows of their past soon caught up with them. A violent altercation between her parents left them both scarred, physically and emotionally. Sharon's world began to unravel and her behavior deteriorated rapidly. The teachers at Cordwell's junior school grew increasingly concerned, witnessing this polite young girl turn into a handful. In 1990, social services intervened, and Sharon spent a brief period in foster care. However, this experience only fueled her anger. Upon returning home, she was like a powder keg waiting to ignite. As Sharon's 12th birthday approached, the pressure built up inside her. A disturbing incident involving a neighborhood pet revealed the depth of her distress. Her mother, feeling overwhelmed and helpless, made the heart-wrenching decision to place Sharon back into foster care. 1 month later, Sharon returned home, seething with anger and feeling deeply rejected. Camberley was on the brink of tragedy. On June 6, 1992, Sharon cruised around with two companions, seeking excitement and distraction. Meanwhile, 18-year-old hairdresser Katie Ratcliffe enjoyed a night out that would end in tragedy. The following evening, June 7th, 1992, darkness descended upon Camberley. Katie walked home from Ragamuffins nightclub, oblivious to the horror awaiting her. Sharon lay in wait, armed with a 6.5-inch knife. Katie suffered 32 stab wounds and her lifeless body was callously discarded on a Farnborough road, dragged near a cemetery wall. The discovery left the community shaken. Investigation, a probe into the heinous crime, exposed an unprecedented level of brutality, leaving detectives stunned and searching for answers. Sharon's motives remained shrouded in mystery, but the callous theft of Katie's jewelry suggested a chilling calculus of opportunism. Initial assumptions misled the investigation, allowing the true culprit to evade capture. The case eventually went cold, leaving Katie's family and the community searching for answers. This tragic incident became one of Britain's most shocking crimes, highlighting investigative complexities. The darkness that drove Sharon Carr remained unchecked, a chilling reminder that evil often hides in plain sight. In 1992, an 18-year-old girl named Katie Ratcliffe had her life brutally cut short by 12-year-old Sharon Carr. This chilling crime shook Camberley, Surrey, to its core. Sharon's troubled past had been marked by instability, violence, and unspeakable cruelty. Her behavior had spiraled out of control, culminating in 2 school expulsions in early 1994. On June 7, 1994, the second anniversary of Katie's tragic demise, Sharon attacked a 13-year-old classmate at Collingwood College Comprehensive School. The victim suffered serious injuries, exposing Sharon's disturbing pattern of aggression. Sharon's arrest had unearthed a sinister diary, revealing a morbid fascination with Katie's murder. The diary contained explicit accounts of her sexual arousal connected to the incident, which sent shockwaves through the investigation. As detectives delved deeper, they discovered Sharon's dark history of animal cruelty, including the brutal decapitation of a dog. This heinous act hinted at a psychopathic disorder, leaving experts stunned. Confronted with irrefutable evidence, Sharon confessed to the crime, recounting vivid details of Katie's injuries and undisclosed information. Her indifferent demeanor during the police reenactment had sent chills down investigators' spines. Trial. The courtroom drama commenced in March 1997, mesmerizing the nation. Within the hallowed halls of Winchester Crown Court, a gripping saga of deceit and betrayal unfolded with stunning ferocity. The verdict was swift and unequivocal: guilty. Sharon was handed a 14-year minimum sentence, a measure of justice that offered scant comfort to Katie's devastated loved ones. The media dubbed Sharon the Devil's Daughter, sparking widespread outrage. Years later, Sharon's diagnosis of schizoaffective disorder shed light on her inner turmoil. However, the question remained: how could a 12-year-old commit such atrocities? The answer lay hidden in Sharon's troubled mind, where darkness had taken hold at an alarming rate. This haunting tale served as a stark reminder that even the most innocent faces can conceal unfathomable evil. Case number 3. Beyond the facade of fairy tale romance, a darker reality lurked. What happened when societal norms and expectations dominated the narrative? Last night, we delved into the sinister underbelly of traditional love, where routine bred indifference, and the line between devotion and obsession became perilously blurred. But caution was advised. Certain connections were not easily severed regardless of our efforts. Unlike the ghosts of our past, the living could not be simply exorcised from our existence. in the quaint town of Livermore, California, a complicated tale of affection, treachery, and betrayal unfolded in 2002. At the heart of this turmoil were three teenagers, each harboring their own secrets and aspirations. 17-year-old Jenna Nannetti had taken a daring step by marrying 19-year-old Mike Simons, a charismatic chap who had had a thirst for adventure and aspirations of military service. However, Mike's adventurous spirit soon revealed itself as a reluctance to settle down, leaving Jenna feeling constrained in a relationship with a husband who had sought freedom. As Mike's attention began to drift, it fell upon 17-year-old Catherine Bellflower, an alluring young woman who'd been known for her ability to get what she desired. With her captivating allure, Catherine quickly ensnared Mike's interest, leading to a secretive affair between them. Nevertheless, Jenna had been determined not to surrender without a struggle. Despite Mike's overt disloyalty, she had clung to the hope of reigniting their romance. Yet Catherine had been unyielding, and Mike had found himself caught between his commitment to his wife and his fervor for his new paramour. The love triangle escalated, and Mike summoned Jenna for a discussion, suggesting the possibility of reconciliation. Unbeknownst to Jenna, Catherine and her devoted friend, 20-year-old Jeffrey Hamilton, had been lurking nearby, poised to intervene. The scene had been set for a confrontation that would irrevocably alter their lives. Jenna's aspirations for a fresh start had been on the verge of transforming into a nightmare, and the repercussions of their intricate web of love and betrayal had promised to be catastrophic. On October 6, 2002, Catherine's fury and thirst for vengeance had targeted Jenna. Mike's spouse had assaulted her. This assault had served as the catalyst for a lethal game of pursuit and evasion. Motivated by his own dark intentions, Mike had persuaded Jenna to retaliate against Catherine, and she had fallen for his plan. Unbeknownst to Jenna, Mike had harbored a hidden agenda. He had led her to a secluded area of the Delta, where Catherine and her devoted ally, Jeffrey Hamilton, had awaited their arrival. Unaware of the peril that had lain ahead, Jenna had fallen into a carefully laid trap. The repercussions of her choices had been catastrophic, culminating in a night marked by violence and mayhem. What had once appeared to be a simple love triangle had devolved into a perilous struggle for survival. The heinous crime that had unfolded was fueled by jealousy, greed, and treachery. The poor victim, 17-year-old Jenna Nannetti, was brutally slain, and her lifeless body was dragged to the water's edge by her assassins. The perpetrators of this dastardly act were Mike Simons and Catherine Bellflower, Jenna's husband and his mistress, respectively. Their motives were twofold. They had sought to cash in on Jenna's life insurance policy and to eliminate the obstacle that had stood in the way of their illicit love affair. The investigation that followed failed to uncover any physical evidence linking the duo to the crime. The case remained unresolved, and it seemed that justice would elude the community. However, the emergence of another love triangle ultimately led to the downfall of Mike and Catherine. Months after Jenna's tragic demise, Catherine introduced a new player into their web of love and deception. Her name was Aspen, a 16-year-old girl who was oblivious to the peril that had lain hidden beneath Catherine's charming facade. As the dynamics among the trio evolved, the groundwork for their eventual ruin was laid, and it was only a matter of time before their sinister truths came to light. Catherine's pregnancy had sparked a dark transformation within her. No longer willing to share Mike's affections, she had resolved to eliminate her rival, the young Aspen. However, Catherine had been too clever to get her hands dirty, so she'd enlisted the help of her devoted accomplice, Jeffrey Hamilton. On the fateful evening of February 28, 2003, Catherine had lured Aspen into a state of inebriation. As Aspen struggled for her life, Catherine had whispered a menacing promise, her tone laced with malevolence. But fate had intervened when police officer Tim Phillips stumbled upon the scene during a routine patrol. Catherine's quick wit and persuasive speech had led the officer to believe she was tending to Aspen rather than harming her. This had presented a prime opportunity for Aspen to escape, but she had remained unnervingly quiet. Nevertheless, Catherine's facade had begun to crumble when Aspen disclosed Catherine's shocking confession to killing Jenna upon returning home. The police promptly apprehended the trio, bringing their reign of terror to a close. Mike Simons was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life without parole. Jeffrey Hamilton pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and received a sentence of 15 years to life. Catherine Bellflower, the mastermind behind the chaos, pleaded guilty to first-degree murder and was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. For investigators, the enigma persisted. What had driven a teenage girl to become a merciless killer? Beneath the seemingly innocent exteriors of Catherine Bellflower and her associates, a dark truth had resided. Their youthful visages had concealed a calculating malevolence that had simmered beneath the surface. Catherine's fixation on achieving her desires had transformed into an overwhelming drive. Her youthful appearance and engaging personality had disguised a relentless resolve to remove any obstacles that had stood in her path. Together with her partners in crime, Catherine had demonstrated that age did not preclude savagery, revealing that some individuals had possessed hearts hardened far beyond their years. Conclusion. The narratives of these women served as a profound reminder of the duality of the human heart, which had possessed the capacity for immense love as well as profound destruction. Much like fragile porcelain, it had embodied both beauty and vulnerability, yet it had also been susceptible to breaking into countless fragments. As we navigated the intricacies of their stories, we were confronted with a troubling question. What had compelled a woman to commit murder? And what insights had this provided into the more sinister aspects of our own nature? This understanding had compelled us to face our own darker tendencies, highlighting that, regardless of our noble aspirations, we had all harbored the potential for unimaginable actions. Thank you for watching. We truly appreciate your support and engagement. If you found this content thought-provoking, please consider subscribing for more insightful videos. Additionally, sharing this with friends and family helps spread awareness and sparks meaningful conversations. Your likes, comments, and shares make a significant difference, so thank you again for being part of our community.